To talk a little hoops. Yes, it is time for a Hoop Scoop, and we do have Tony Atzeni, Larry Cotlar in studio with us to get you caught up on high school and collegiate basketball. So let's begin, Mr. Atzeni, with high school. The ladies.
Yeah, the ladies have been underway for a while. The boys, I finally put their first rankings out last week, but Central Iowa, especially in Class 5A, really good basketball. Johnston, #1 in my last rankings. Waukee, Ankeny Centennial, Indianola, they're in the top 4. Valley's at #6, so, and then Dowling at #8. So you look at the top 10, the CIML girls just really packing it in there. As some outstanding basketball being played. And no doubt they'll be one of the teams, as the pecking order gets over with, we'll figure out a way to probably win the state championship again. So good basketball. In Class 4A, Ballard, the #1 team in the state, and just north of here, so they're going to be very tough to defeat. In Class 3A, the Nevada Cubs are the top-ranked team. They were the defending champions from last year, basically the only team out of the central Iowa area in the top 10, but they are #1. And in Class 2A, from your neck of the woods, Unity Christian of Orange City.
Yeah.
The
Look, they've always been good.
Yeah, they've always
City's
been good.
Great.
They're #1, but Van Meter at #9 and Interstate 35 of Truo at #10.
Yeah,
Two teams from the central Iowa area that, and just south of here, that'll have a good vie for that. And in Class 1A, no central Iowa teams on that board, but #1 team is Springville. I think they were the runners-up last year, so some good basketball. Going to the boys' side, I think it's in 4A. It's the Iowa City West entertaining tournament. We'll find out if somebody else can step up. But West Des Moines Valley at #2, Des Moines Hoover, Ames, Ankeny, and Ankeny Centennial, and Dowling Catholic all in that top 10. So some good teams here in Central Iowa.
Fairly well represented in the state, I think.
But Iowa City West is going to be tough. In 3A, Dubuque Wahlert, they had a ton of talent over the years. They still have some talent back. Pella, though, right there at #2, a team from Central Iowa to keep an eye on. You can see Sheraton also in the mix there. And in Class 2A, Western Christian of Hull, perennial power, they're #1. But you see Pella Christian right there knocking at the door. And Interstate 35 of Truo doing it on the boys' side as well, so keep an eye on them.
You gotta like that.
Yep. And in Class 1A, Boyden Hull, another team out of Northwest Iowa, perennial power in basketball. Just north of here, Colonesco at #4. And I've got Ankeny Christian Academy and Meskwaki Settlement there at 9 and 10. A couple teams that maybe some of the polls don't have in there, but I think they're going to be viable, and keep an eye on those. So those are the boys' rankings. You can follow me at on Facebook at Tony Atzeni, or on Twitter at AtzeniTony, and check it out there. By the way, our CISN TV game of the week this week will be Valley at Johnston. Big game, especially on the girls' side. So we'll have that one. And then every Saturday morning, our Central Iowa Sports Saturday show from 8 to 10. Myself.
Look how fancy you get dressed up.
Boy,
wow.
Yeah. Hey, it's hoodie season. So.
It is hoodie season.
You can check us out on ESPN Radio 1350 for that every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. This will be our last show. We're going to take the holiday break like everybody else here after this tomorrow's show, and then back on it first of the year and kick it away with high school, professional, and college talk. And by the way, the Iowa Energy are home tonight. Military Appreciation Night. For those with military IDs, $5 is all it costs, plus any of your guests get in for $5 too.
So yeah, $5 for everybody.
Yeah, $5
that
per
comes
person.
with you.
Yep.
And Santa's going to be there, so you better go find out which list you're on.
I'm on the bad list. But he can tell me himself.
Yeah, okay.
And by the way, can I do a special mention? I want to say happy birthday to my oldest granddaughter, Kaylee, today.
Yay! Happy birthday. All right, so we have some big news with college football as well this weekend.
College football or basketball?
Basketball. Sorry,
okay.
I have Rose Bowl on my mind,
That's
but
all right.
I know.
I'm still trying to get Rose Bowl
I'm still
tickets.
trying.
Yeah,
I got to talk Santa myself, but of course, hoops are what everyone else is talking for this specific
Well, true,
weekend.
because you have the Big Four Classic. This is the 4th year now of the Big Four Classic, and of course, what happens is that the big schools play the smaller schools. I guess you can make, I don't know if that's sort of the right way to put it. But then again, you've got Iowa Drake in the first game at 3:30, and then following that, it's going to be Northern Iowa taking on Iowa State. Looking at the Iowa Drake game, obviously I'll be doing the Drake game on 1350 ESPN. And I know when I talk to Coach McCaffrey, I'm going to say, look, I don't play favorites between Iowa and Iowa State, but I hated to see the way Iowa lost that game to Iowa State, because they're going to come out focused. After the way they lost that game.
No, they're going to come out PO'd is what they're going to come out.
Well, PO'd, yes, but I think focused is actually a more accurate word, because now they're coming off a very, very, very tough loss to Iowa State, a game that they should have won. I mean, there's no question they should have won.
Well, they know they're a strong team.
They are.
Just verified that fact.
They are.
Yeah.
And Drake's struggling right now, and Drake's lost 3 in a row. The Bulldogs defensively are struggling right now. And as Coach Giacoletti said after the last game against Nevada up in Reno, he said, we can't give up 79 points a game and win. And he's exactly right. So we're pushing the 80 mark. But look, you know, you get out there and we get great guard play on both sides because, for one thing, on Drake's side, you have Timmer and you have Woodward and you have Rivers and you have Ori Arogandade. I've got that name down.
I'm glad you had to say that.
And the other side, Gasell, and you got Clemens, and you got Peter Jock. The interesting matchup to me is going to be Enevold and the inside are starting to evolve now for Drake, playing much better against Woodbury. But there's another interesting matchup. Utah, who's been on fire, co-Big Ten Player of the Week.
No question.
59 points in 2 games,
Wow.
30 in the first half against Iowa State against Cale Abrahamson, the kid from West Des Moines Valley. You know, and they've met before because Abrahamson played at Northwestern. So that'll be interesting. Then on the other side, you've got Iowa State and you've got Northern Iowa. They had a great battle a couple of years ago. In fact, Ben Jacobson is 5-2 against the Cyclones, and the only 2 losses have come in overtime. That was that great game where they were up 18 points 2 years ago.
It just seems like those guys have their number for some reason.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be tough, but Iowa State came back from an 18-point deficit 2 years ago to beat them. Now, Iowa State's without Naz Mitru-Long, who's out for the season because of hip surgery. So he's out. They'll move. Matt Thomas is now in the starting lineup, and Deontay Burton is going to make his first appearance tomorrow, much like Jameel McKay did last year against Drake.
Yeah, but Deontay is impressive. It's going to be cool to watch him.
Yeah, he can really dunk too.
Yes,
we saw that in the Cap City League.
Yep.
He can do that. So, you know, Iowa State obviously very tough. Number 2 and the coaches poll, number 5 on the AP poll. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. George Niang, Monte Morris. They're not as deep as they well, they're usually not that deep anyway, but now we're losing Naz Long. I mean, that hurts them. Northern Iowa, though, they've got terrific guards, but their problem is on the inside because they lost Seth Tuttle from a year ago. So they work inside.
But they beat North Carolina.
But they beat North Carolina.
So that's in their back pocket.
That's in their back pocket. So think about this. If they win this game tomorrow,
Huge.
they will have beaten number 1 and number 2. First of all,
you don't think that's on the bulletin board?
Well, you know, the thing about it is how often do you actually get to play the number 1 and number 2 teams in the same year? Not very often.
Right.
So, you know, the thing about it, from what I'm hearing, I was talking to Gary Rima last night. He said they're hearing the well could be packed for this tomorrow, which would be great.
It's
I hope it does.
out.
It is sold out.
Is it sold out?
It is sold out.
Great. Well, I just hope everybody there, you know, has a great time with it. And I hope we have two very competitive games.
I think you will.
Yeah. I'm a little biased on one side.
All right. Now, if people want to hear your biased call of the game, where do they listen to that?
1350 ESPN. We'll go on the air at 3 o'clock. And of course.
And your show, your regular show.
Yep. We go from 6 to 7. Last night we had Nate Kading on the program.
Good.
We had Scott Miller from Major League Baseball writer, Kevin Lehman talking about it. We all know Kevin. And then I was telling Tony, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I grew up. That's my guilty pleasure. And WWE is coming to town next Tuesday, so we had Devon Dudley of the Dudley Boys on.
Oh, no, really?
He was awesome.
That's fun.
Awesome. So that's where you can hear it, 6 to 7 Thursday nights on 1350 ESPN, Cotlar and Company.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. Great job as always.
Can I mention one quick thing? Do I have 10 seconds?
We're out of time.
You're done.
Stocking stuffer, biggest Rolodex in sports.
Where's the copy of the book so we can hold it up?
Right here.
All right, yeah, get Cotlar's book. It is really a cool read. It is 6:32. This is great.